can you say rivalry? Come on, Chicago and Indiana playing in a WNBA game that felt like it had playoff implications. Let's go.
Turn that volume up. You know you want it. It's time for Women's Basketball TV with former NCAA champion, WNBA champion, business mogul, and national TV personality, Fran Harris.
Asia Wilson is a generational talent. We have no one like her in the WNBA.
Bringing you entertaining, on-point analysis.
Did LSU just win the national championship?
Tea and inside scoop on this sport you love.
NIL is going crazy. All I'm saying is if they're making $5 million as a student athlete, can't they pay for their own college? I mean, I'm just asking. It's just a question.
Let's get it.
But let's start with the game of the week, and that was yesterday's game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, featuring our Rookie of the Year candidates, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Let's start with Caitlin Clark, because I swear some of y'all were losing your minds 4 weeks ago talking about Caitlin Clark and how terrible she was and how she shouldn't have gone to Indiana and how Indiana wasn't better. And I'm going to stand on what I said 4 or 5 weeks ago. Give this team some time. Give Caitlin Clark some time. These people don't know each other. They've never played with one another. Caitlin Clark's a college player. She's got an adjustment to make getting to the WNBA. Aaliyah Boston was just a college player last year. She's got to get used to a different style, because let's keep it a buck. Caitlin Clark brings a different style. Even though Indiana was running fast breaks, they weren't running them with someone who was making the kind of dimes that Caitlin Clark was accustomed to doing at Iowa. Stop it. Just stop it. It wasn't the same. They needed to get used to each other. And for the past 2 weeks, what have we seen? We've seen them get used to the passes, get used to the timing, get used to the human being that's standing across from them on the free throw line. Like, it's a process, y'all. And some of y'all, well, maybe you have never played basketball, and I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just saying, if you've never been in that situation, you don't realize and recognize how difficult it is to walk into a new situation with the expectations of everybody. The expectations weren't just on Caitlin, although Caitlin Knights tried to act like it was just about Caitlin. It wasn't just about Caitlin. There were expectations for the Indiana Fever for getting Caitlin. There were expectations for Aaliyah Boston being in her second season of the WNBA. There were expectations of Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, I could go on about the expectations of the Indiana Fever coming into this season. Some of you also don't know that there had been rumors that Indiana, I think I mentioned this in one of my shows, that Indiana might be looking for an owner. Those were rumors. Nobody told me that, but those were rumors. And not this season, like over the course of the season. That's not uncommon for a sports team for people to be looking to either buy into it or to move it or something like that. So that's not unusual, and that's no shock to anybody. But those of you who are enjoying the fruits of the labor of the Indiana Fever right now should think about that. I mean, there's a possibility that Indiana might not have been there, and therefore Caitlin Clark could have been going to a random city that picked up Indiana as a franchise. I'm just saying, you need to count your blessings and think about that. All right, so Caitlin Clark has come into a little bit of her own. We're starting to see what she might look like as a, as a pro player. Has gotten so much better with communication, so much better with the tantrums. I mean, they're still there. She and Angel both need to stop talking to the officials and just play, because they are playing really well in this first third of the WNBA season. So Caitlin Clark has gotten better. Let's talk about a couple areas that she's gotten better in. Number one, fewer tantrums, right? That in college, that was starting to get on my nerve. I'm not gonna lie. Keep it a whole buck. I hate players constantly talking to officials, and Caitlin did that a lot in college. And she got away with it a lot in college. So, of course, it just carried over to the W. She just kept talking to the officials, whatever, So I think Caitlin's a lot like coaches. Sometimes they think if they wear on the officials, eventually it will it will tilt in their favor. So whatever her strategy is, I'm sure there is one. That's the first thing. She's gotten a little bit better, a little bit more selective about what she says to the officials. Number two, she's starting to understand that she's a bigger piece of a bigger machine, right? So even though conceptually she knew that and said that in press conferences, you start to feel that. Everybody feels that when you go, okay, I have my job to do. My job is a piece of the puzzle. It is not the whole puzzle. And when you make that shift as a professional player, you actually get better. It doesn't matter what your role is. When you truly understand and recognize why you are there, then it allows you to kind of put the pieces together around your game so that you can get better, so that you can fit more perfectly into the bigger piece, into the bigger puzzle. And I see that with Caitlin. I see the light coming on as not a veteran, but as someone who says, okay, I was new here. I understand how I need to handle my teammates, how I need to support my teammates, what I need to start, stop, and keep doing as a player so that my team can get better. And then the third thing I'll say about Caitlin, that she has, this is just an improvement area. Everybody knows, I've said this from the beginning, she has to get a mid-range. There are too many times that Caitlin will dribble into the free throw area. She's wide open, but it's like she can't shoot a mid-range, right?
It's your girlfriend Harris, former WNBA champion with the Houston Comets. It is finally here. Yes, the first novel set in the world of the WNBA. And it's got all the good stuff. It's got love, romance, true crime, forgiveness, redemption, all the stuff you love to see in great novels. If you love Terry McMillan and Waiting to Exhale, if you love Eric Jerome Dickey and all his madness, then you will love Houston by Morning. It's a story of 4 characters: a baller, an agent, a television personality, and a coach. And the way their lives collide into one another is a beautiful mess. Pick up a copy now on Amazon Kindle or at HoustonByMorning.com. Peace!
But it's like she can't shoot a mid-range, right? It's like she can only shoot 22 to 30 footers. And that's got to get better, because obviously if I'm coaching against Caitlin, I'm going to say, we're going to make Caitlin drive. We're going to make her drive because she's less effective as a shooter when she drives. Now, she's extremely effective as a passer when she drives. But we want Caitlin to take the shot that's most uncomfortable for her. And what is that? That's a mid-range. I can count on one hand in 5 to 6 weeks the number of mid-range shots that Caitlin has taken. So she's going to have to fix that. All right, let's move on to Angel Reese, the trash-talking Barbie who backs it up with her game. Let's keep it a whole buck. Angel Reese is going to talk some shit. She is. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are thinking that Caitlin's not talking shit, she is. She's talking a lot of it. I'm going to do some clips videos where all I show you is Caitlin and Angel talking shit. Okay, let's keep it a buck. So lots of that being done in the WNBA by all the stars. But Angel Reese, tremendous game yesterday. You know, when she was coming out, when she was contemplating coming to the WNBA, y'all want to back me up on this? I'm like, I don't know if Angel should come out. Her skill set, her offensive skill set is not where it needs to be in the W. But in that same breath, I also said what she does, the intangibles of what she brings to a team are going to be needed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when she comes out. You're going to always need some badass rebounders. You're going to always need some people who are willing to knock people on their ass for the sake of their team. You're always going to need post players who are going to run the floor. So she had those assets. Those were parts of her game at LSU. So we knew she could do that. And I acknowledged even, last college basketball season that those things are going to be welcomed in any team. No matter where Angel goes, that will translate. I still think she needs to develop that shot, but let's, we can talk about that another time when I'm focusing on shooting. Let's talk about what she did yesterday that really elevated the play of the Chicago Sky. Number one, she's fearless. She's fearless out there. And it's weird when you are a rookie because you want to come in, you don't want to act like it is your team. That is a bad move. That is an extremely bad move. But you also need to come in there and not shrink yourself. And I think Angel found the balance of coming in, being who she is, being a good teammate, supporting her team, and attempting to really maximize the skill set that she brings to the Chicago Sky. And even when I talked to Teresa Weatherspoon, I'm like, what's up with Angel? She's like, Angel's a dog. I mean, it's like Angel said yesterday in the press, like, I'm a dog. You can't teach that. You can't coach that. And she's like, she's a dog. She'll figure it out. Like, we're putting some pieces around her to make sure that she gets better at some things, helping her to understand it's a long season, and that you in some ways you do have to kind of pace yourself in this league because it's a long, brutal season. And what I love that Angel Reese has done is she's come in and said, okay, let me assess the situation. All right, let me see what this needs. Folks are going to need rebounds, as I said. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to check that off. I'm going to check these boxes while I'm getting better at some other stuff. And so I think Angel Reese has surprised a lot of folks. She surprised a lot of folks who didn't understand that this game is not just about how well you can shoot. Because if y'all think about it, there are only a few. There's like a 10% of the players in the WNBA and in any basketball league that can really, really shoot. Really shoot. There's not that many. Shooting, excellent shooters, rarity. Scorers, there are lots of scorers, but excellent shooters, rarity. So what you need to know how to do in the W is score. If you can score, you can play in the W. And Angel showed that yesterday. I think what she have 25 points and 16 rebounds. Incredible in front of a large television audience and in front of a great audience for her home team. So I thought the game was amazing. I was really impressed with the level of competition by both teams. And of course, it's always cool to see rookies who talk a big game go out there and deliver a big game. And Kaylin and Angel did just that. So what are your thoughts? What did you think of the game yesterday? If you didn't see it, watch it in replay. It is worth the watch.
Thanks for tuning in to Women's Basketball TV with Fran Harris, the most provocative and entertaining women's basketball show on earth. Be sure to click that like, share and notification button so you don't miss a moment. We'll see you tomorrow.